Here we go, Nutrition and Metabolism, Part 5. Beginning with page 912, we have this fabulous table that illustrates vitamins for our viewing pleasure. And a little overview on vitamins is that vitamins function as coenzymes in the biosynthetic pathways as well as the biometabolic pathways. To synthesize means to build, to metabolize means to break down generally. And so I'm actually doing it all in alphabetical order, whereas the book tends to sequester vitamins either in the water-soluble or fat-soluble categories. In general, I would like you to know that vitamins A, C, and E are considered antioxidants. Life was not created in an atmosphere of oxygen. That happened later, a couple of billion years after life got started, by organisms that took advantage of utilizing sunlight in the presence of chlorophyll to produce glucose, a nice food to store. And some of you know it as maple syrup and other sweet products that plants produce, just the way you like it, and that bees collect as honey, for instance, just the way they like it, and some of us like it too. So this is a nice little acronym, ACE, ACE. These are the antioxidant vitamins. So I'm going to go over the vitamins here. I'm going to go over their true names. I'm going to go over how much is needed and what it's used for. What do I need you to know? I need you to know the actual names of the vitamins. I need you to know what it's used for. Right? I don't care that you know the exact suggested recommended daily amounts to be used. You can determine that in many ways. But I would like you to also consider that I'm putting these things into this table right here. Right? So here we have proteins, and again I've reconfigured this so that proteins are really the proteins and not some sort of advertisement for American industry. Same thing here. We want whole foods. We don't want processed foods. This is the very definition of a processed food. This is not whole foods, right? Bread and noodles, not whole foods. Again, this is not whole foods. This is oil. At no time can this ever be considered whole foods. If you want omega-3, where do you get it from? You get it from greens and from fruit. Basically, you get it from where the rest of life itself gets it from, whether you're a fish or anything else in life. This is where you get your omega-3 from. And try to remember, it's about 1/3 of our brain. You need a lot of omega-3. Don't look here. You won't get it. You'll get omega-6, or you'll get nothing at all in some cases. Okay, so here we have nutrients sequestered there. Here we have our table on page 912, and I'm actually going to begin with vitamin A. Vitamin A is normally thought of as a soluble in fat type vitamin, and the fat-soluble vitamin that we actually use in our rods, not our cones so much. We use lutein in our cones. Here's retinal right here, the word. This is the fat-soluble, but then we have something called retinal equivalents, and we have them as basically as carotenoids, right? And so the place that you look for initially here would be carrots. That's why it was given the name carotenoids, because carrots are so rich a source. You only need 18 calories to get the RDA here, which is 1,000 retinol equivalents. Okay, so notice what's going on here. First of all, is I have the vitamin A. I have the word retinal, so you know that that's the scientific name. You also know that there's carotenoids. That's the equivalent, or the provitamin A, right? And then you also know that you have an amount of interest here. And how to get to that amount of interest, here's the food that is the highest concentration in all of the USDA charts, is carrots. And this is how much carrots you need to eat to get there. you might have a wide variety of foods, and this is just one contributor of many contributors, right? So, but of course, here you only need 1/4 of a cup. You only need 18 calories. That's not much. And I've also asked that you consider memorizing, or at least considering putting to memory 2 or 3 items from each of these categories. It's not that much to ask, I think, to remember that vitamin A comes from carrots, well, bok choy is greens in general. Spinach is a particular type of green. Bok choy is a particular type of Chinese green. So notice, it's kind of nice to know that you got some backup here that are some of your favorite foods, probably butternut squash, romaine lettuce, cantaloupe, papaya. These are actually in order. These are the top heavy hitters. This is not a random selection, right? These are the actual heavy hitters. Okay, so I need you to know that. And we'll just keep going through the vitamins and the minerals until we make it all the way through. So this is vitamin A, and vitamin A works particularly in your retina, right, in eyes. That's what it's there for, to make the vision work. Okay, now we're off to vitamin B. Let's start off with vitamin B1. This is thiamine. B1 is thiamine. I need you to know the name of the vitamin. I need you to know where it comes from and what it does. Here they're indicating that one of the things that it does is it's important for the formation of coenzyme A. What do we know about coenzyme A? As something that happens on this next page here is that when we metabolize glucose to pyruvate and we want to get to the Krebs cycle, the only way into the Krebs cycle is acetyl-CoA. When we're taking a look at Dr. Robert Lustig, he's going to identify fructose for us as something that cannot get to acetyl-CoA, not get to the Krebs cycle. Where does fructose go? It goes to acyl-CoA, and it goes straight to fat. Straight. Does not pass go. Does not stimulate insulin. Straight to fat. So beware of those sodas that we buy from the store that are put together with sucrose. It's basically water and sugar. That goes straight to fat. And it does not do anything. We'll have a whole film on that. So at any rate, what do we know here is that this is vitamin B1 right here. B1 and B5 and biotin, we'll get to those. But B1 is required for the formation of acetyl-CoA. And I guess I should have had it up here. But at any rate, B1 is necessary for the creation of acetyl-CoA and so that we can get into the Krebs cycle. That's the important detail here. And where do we get our vitamin B1, thiamine? We get it from, here we are. I listed here the top things, the 7 top things. And so some people like to have gumbo. And so okra is a part of that little bit of world right there. Green peas plays a big role in this thiamine B1. Look at that watermelon. Not that you're going to eat 11 cups of it or anything like that, but when you're making your menu as a nutritionist for your patient, it wouldn't hurt to put a little bit there, and that would cut back on whatever else you're using for your B1. Okay, so that's that idea. Let's take a look here at B2. B2 and B3 are actually taken together, and I'll pick that up in our next episode because we have to see them right here. These are connecting Krebs cycle with oxidative phosphorylation, so they're all about the production of ATP. That's the purpose of the B2, B3 episode here, riboflavin and niacin, is that we get energy from that. And you would get tired without it, I must say. So I'll pick it up in our next episode.